New York Restaurant Week. Let's go.
Hey there, this is Fufsky coming to you from New York. This restaurant is called Batar. I've been to this restaurant 3 years ago for the last Restaurant Week event, and it was pretty good. I liked it a lot. And 3 years after, I decided to revisit it and see if there's any changes. Time flies. Let's check it out.
Do you know what are the 4 most demoralizing things when shooting videos? I'll just tell you one. You didn't insert your microphone jack all the way in such that you got no sound from either the camera or the microphone, aka complete silence. Why am I telling you this? Well, because that's what happened to me. So yeah, you're going to hear my commentary for the rest of the video. Batar is a Michelin 1-star restaurant in Tribeca, New York, serving Neo-European style cuisine. I had made a video back then in which I said I really like this restaurant and would like to go back for another visit. And after 2 years, I was back. So let's get straight into it. Before anything, we always have the bread. Bread is bread, nothing much to say. But this one did have some elasticity, like a mini version of sourdough. Also, the butter was nice. Appetizer: honey nut squash soup with coconut curry, coriander, and lime. The soup was light yet had some body to it. Its consistency was in between soup and cream. It had a subtle sweetness from the squash and a hint of mild spice from the curry, just enough to give it a bit interesting touch. Cured salmon with ceviche, salmon roe, pumpernickel, and caperberries. To be honest, I wasn't sure what was what upon seeing the dish as I didn't recognize half of the items on the menu. This one did taste good. The salmon was quite fatty with nice flavor, seasoned with salmon roe which created nice harmonic. No added salt needed. Pumpernickel refers to the rye bread chip on top of the plate, and ceviche is the sauce under it. What's interesting was the little yellow seeds on the salmon like a vegan caviar with a more crispy pop, which created a nice contrast of textures. Main course: duck leg confit with roasted potatoes. The meat was tender and moist, the flavor was intense, and the fatty part of the leg really gave you that satisfying feel. The portion was a bit small though. This was a good dish, but that's just that. Main course number 2. Pan-seared dorado with frigola sarda, which is the giant couscous thing, niçoise olives, watercress, and a romesco sauce. This one, well, the fish was flaky but not that juicy. I'm not sure if that's due to the cooking or the species. That was fine. What's not fine, however, was that the entire dish was too sour. The olive was sour, of course. The romesco sauce was also sour, overpowering the tomato flavor that's supposed to have. And even the frigola sarda was sour. At that point, you knew they definitely blew up on the acid. This shouldn't happen in a Michelin restaurant, but it did. Let's put that aside and move on to desserts. First dessert, we had winter citrus galette with lemon ice cream. The ice cream had a mild flavor, and the galette, which refers to the pastry on the side, was flaky, warm, soft, with fruity compote on the top. It tasted good, but I can't help but think that it was a bit too simple. Last dessert, sticky toffee pudding, butterscotch, and caramel ice cream. The butterscotch was glazed on top of the pudding, giving it a sweet taste. The pudding was a bit crusty on the outside, and inside there was nothing. It was just a cake. I was expecting something more, maybe like a molten chocolate inside, considering the presentation was so frugal and there wasn't a lot of things on the plate. But I guess that's too much to expect from this level of Michelin restaurant. It feels like as if you're about to bite into a scoop of caviar, expecting it to give you the flavor pop. But instead, you got no caviar, but tapiocas from a bubble tea. Well, that's just, you know what I mean, right? I'm a bit disappointed by the desserts, to be honest. And that wraps up the meal. The appetizers were good. The main course had a fiasco with the fish, and the desserts were not great to say the least. This is not the Batar that I remember back in 2019. What happened? Just look at the desserts back then. How pretty was that? And look at it now. I don't know what to say. Look at the main course from back 2019. Look at that fish. I still remember the contrast between the crispy skin and the tender moist flesh with a hint of aromatic spice and sweetness. Actually a bit similar to the soup I have. Not this over sour dish, which I ignored the fact that the flesh wasn't even that juicy for whatever reason. Maybe I'm not getting the full treatment because this is a restaurant week menu? Not really. First, the quality should be the same regardless of the menu I choose, just like back in 2019. Second, I had a friend who dined there before me for their full menu, feeling the same decrease in quality and walked away even more unhappy because she paid more. We were even having conversation mocking that Batar is on its way of losing its star after my visit. let me get one thing clear. Batar is not a bad restaurant by any means. It is still fine by the average standard. But for someone like me who's dining at restaurants of over 15 Michelin stars, I know what to look for and what to expect. And Batar in its current state just wasn't making the cut. I say it when I feel that way, regardless of the restaurant and the stars, be it 1-star Batar, 2-star Cole, or 3-star per se. Sorry, I just roasted another 2 restaurants along the way, but that's what you want to hear, right? Anyways, this is the experience of my particular visit, and that pretty much ended my restaurant week exploration for this season. Would I still come back? I don't know. Batar's got quite some catch-up work to do. That's all I can say. But if you just want to collect the star, you'll visit regardless what I said, right? This is Fufsky and I make videos about food, travel, and culture. If you like this video and want to see more videos like this one, please like, share, and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Turn on the notification bell if you haven't already. And I'll see you in the next video. Thanks for watching.